Hello, everyone. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. My name is Blessing, and this is Striving Together Conversation. I'm really excited today because I've got two phenomenal ladies with me, ladies that I admire a lot, people that I love. I think I'll start with Pastor Eunice first. So I've got Pastor Eunice Agbo. She's one of our pastors here in our church in City of David, Cambridge. She's also my mentor, a woman that I admire. I've also got Dr. A.B. Lawani. She's another phenomenal lady, and I really love her, and I hope she knows. So I'm excited to have two remarkable ladies with me today. Today we will be carrying on our previous conversation about marriage. We will specifically focus on ways in which we can enjoy our marriage as women. We want to be able to live happily and also experience joyfulness in our homes. So today we have our ladies that will be sharing their insights and their experiences and their thoughts and all practical tips that we can use to enjoy our marriage as women. So over to you, Pastor Eunice.
Thank you so much for having me. I must say it's really an honor and a privilege, and I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. I believe that God has a plan for bringing us here, me and my sister, and you bringing us as well. I want to start off with our topic, cultivating happy relationship in marriage. For me, I felt cultivate when I was growing up. It has to do with farming and agriculture and things like that. And actually, it took me back that word is very, very important because it means to grow something. It means to sow or planting, and is a process that you use to acquire maybe a new skill. You want to develop a new talent. You have to cultivate it. It just doesn't happen by chance. So I was linking it now to our marriage. And I was writing down the thoughts that were coming to me that we need land or soil, we need the seeds. And for you to plant, you have things you have to put in place to make those seeds to grow. So that is it in our marriage. You can't just have a happy home by chance. It's a choice and you have to plan towards it. First of all, you have to have a plan. You have to have a choice to have a happy home and you have to work at it. It just doesn't happen. So in cultivating a happy home is a process. Process means there is something to do before that happiness comes by. There are jobs to do. And my father in the Lord always says that he's happy when there is something to do because that means that there is something in your hands that you can actually do to see the result you want. And my question is, what is the result you want in your marriage? Many people go into marriage for different reasons. What is your reason for going into that relationship with that person? Because that's number one. Many people marry for wrong reasons or for right reasons. So first of all, you want to enjoy your home, you want to have a happy home, you need to sit down and examine your thoughts. Why do I want to partner with this person? Or now you're already married. Why did you marry that person in the first place? You have to go back to the drawing board to know exactly why, what attracted you. Because you don't marry because you're pressured, you don't marry because you feel like it, because feelings do not last. Feel excited today, the next day you're just so downhill, you don't want to see that person. The next week you love that person to bits, you just want to be with that person, but that's how feelings are. So you cannot base your marriage on how you feel. You have to base it on your choice. So what's the first process? Choices that you make, reasons that is behind you getting into that relationship is very, very important. Do I enjoy that person's company? Do I want to be with this person? Do I want to walk on the road with this person and people are looking at us? Am I really happy to show off this person? Those are things, they sound trivial, but it's actually very important because something that someone you have to live with all the days of your life. As I always say, so why don't I just choose the best out of them? Through the grace of God, it's not by what you can do. I believe that as Christians, prayer is a point of call for us. So I've said, number one process is think of your reasons for marrying in the first place. Was it a right one? Is it because, he's so tall and dashing? or well dressed. They are all good ones, but they may not last. Because that person that is slim and tall might one day become very sturdy and very big. So that's not a good reason. That's where character comes, because the character builds love. Someone have a character that can keep your home is very, very important. So I said number 2 is have true love for whoever you choose to marry. From my experience, I've seen so many people when they were getting married. I've had opportunity to go to marriages and talk with married people, and now they feel so much in love. And maybe 2 years down the line, you're having a conversation with them, the love is gone. And I'm like, does it mean that the love you professed the first time was not real? So that's a big question. Have true love. True love is based on commitment. I have committed myself to this person. Come rain, come sunshine, I am getting stuck with this person, and that is it. You make your choice, you commit to it. So first process, think of your reasons. Second process, check your love. Is it really true? Is it based on physical things? Or is it really based on the book of Corinthians that told us love covers all things? That means that love should be open to be in a position to forgive and to let go. That love should be in a position to overlook all wrongs. Will you be wronged? Yes. Will you get upset? Yes. Will you sometimes feel like, oh my goodness, Lord help me? Of course, it's part of the journey. But true love covers all things. So you have to make sure you have genuine love for the person you're married to, for you to have a happy home. And remember not to base it on your feelings. I must say that again because that's the first thing. I did have a conversation with a young person one time, and I asked the person, like, what would you like to see in the person you want to marry? Oh my goodness, she gave me a list of everything.
It's always a long list.
I just started laughing. I was just like, you know what? I love this list because I was like that until I began to see life in a different perspective. I made up my mind that I'm going to enjoy my home.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who I marry, I must enjoy that home, because if that is the place I'm going to be for the rest of my life, leaving my father's house,
Yeah.
I have to be happy. So happiness is a choice. It doesn't matter the situation, you can still choose to be happy. So that commitment and choice is very important. I also said here that your happiness does not depend on anyone. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it does not depend on your husband, because your husband is a human. He's fallible. He's not perfect. He's still a work in progress, just like you. So you cannot expect. Because someone told me one time that, oh, as long as he's doing this and doing that, I will be happy. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I don't want to tell the person to wake up and smell the coffee, as people say. But I was just like, okay, you know what? Slow down. You're on a high speed. Just slow down. And I want to speak to you now that is listening to us to just slow down. Maybe at the moment you feel like, I can't feel that happiness there. Maybe because of the situation going on, maybe because of things around you, or because of your own personal inward battles. Because sometimes as women, we have inward battles and we bring it out into our home, and that will hinder the happiness that you ought to have. But it's high time you sit down and examine. Let's go back to that word, cultivate. That means you toil the ground. To cultivate is not an easy job. I was reading, it's like you're farming, isn't it? In the olden days, there were no mechanical farming style, so you use hoe and diggers. So it's very hard work.
Yeah,
You work so hard that you'll be very tired. You sleep really well. But thank God for mechanized farming now, so you can get one big truck and it will till everywhere. So that means you get yourself ready. Get yourself ready. Be determined to have a happy home. Be dogged in your decisions. Be ready to learn. Be teachable. Be ready to connect with your husband. Don't be the type that zoom out. Like for me, at the beginning, when I feel like, oh, something has happened, I would choose not to talk to my husband because I felt like that's the best way to deal with that matter. But I've learned that is not the best way to go about it. I've learned to be more open and say, this is how I feel, and it's worked really well. That at the end of the day, you enjoy discussing that matter. I said here, you must, is a must, marry someone you respect and admire, because admiration grows respect. If you admire that person, for me, example, when I met my husband, I met him in a way, it's a special way, I must say. He was really helping someone, really helping someone that was unwell in the hospital. I was our youth leader then, and I was informed of the person. Knowing myself, I had to quickly cook, go to see the person. I go to the hospital. My husband was there already with food for the person. How did he even cook food? Anyway, how did he even get there? Oh, I said, okay, no, I'll bring food in the evening. I got there in the evening. He has already brought food. I said, is it not, does he not work? Does he not go to work? Honestly, at that point, this person is a church member. They are not related to each other, but the kind of kindness and love that he showed, sincerely in my heart, I really admired him. I said in my heart, I would like to marry somebody like this. I said that.
Okay.
I said that in my heart. I was just like, oh God, I would like to marry somebody like this. How could he cook food? How could he bring food? It was just too much. I was wild, I must say. And that was admiration. I admired his character. I admired his kindness. I admired his personality. I admired things that I feel like, wow, I didn't know people can make out time to do something like this. So you can admire something else in your husband. It might be the way they talk. They are very eloquent. You might just admire that. And that builds respect. Because whoever you respect, you honor. Whoever you honor, you trust. And those are very important in our marriage. So let me wrap up here. I said admiration births respect, and respect births everything else. Trust, love, deep intimacy, and openness. That is very important to have a happy home. Now, the book of First Peter chapter 3 verse 7, it admonishes men, but I will say to everyone, that we should treat our wives, our husbands with respect. Respect is actually the bedrock of happiness in our home. Mutual respect, not one-sided, but which we give willingly to one another.
Yeah, but I want to jump on the part of respect, because for me, I think that is very, very important. The Bible says man should love the wife. And the wife, what God says we should do is just respect. It's very simple. It's very simple. And I've realized that most women, they show respect to others, but not their husband. Yeah. When I was doing my PhD then, I was talking with a family friend, and my husband called me. And I was talking, I said, okay, all right, sir, thank you. And I ended the call, and the man was like, I thought you were talking to your husband. I said, yes. And you're calling him sir. I said, yeah, it was a big deal. And he was like, he was surprised. Then he said, you should teach, the wife is my friend. You should teach your friend this thing. I said, so she doesn't put, there's no big deal in sir. He was really surprised that I referred to my husband as sir at the end of the conversation. And most women, they do not respect their husbands. And men love that respect a lot. True. When you respect the man, he's willing to give you everything. And some people say, there's this common phrase they say, they call it foolish button or mumu button. A man told me that that's his mumu button.
Respect is his name.
Yes.
It makes him lose
Yeah.
himself.
I have a lot of male friends, and most times when we talk, I pick one or two things from them. And I realized that a lot of them, they talk about that respect. When their wife, and I say, okay, so respect is the major thing. Okay, that one is not a big deal. It's even cheap. So if it's respect, I'll give it to my husband. Just imagine, even you as a human being, if someone says nice things, like now she has said she admires me so much, I was like, okay. It just made me feel so good. Just imagine doing that to your husband. But most women, we don't do that. And it's not a good
Why
thing.
is it that most women don't do that? What do you think is the reason why it's not happening in homes?
I think maybe because they are used to each other. I
So
think so.
familiarity.
Yeah, familiarity. Sometimes because you are so used to the man, you don't want to give him that respect. Even outside in public, I've seen some women talk to their husbands, some, and I'm like, okay. I told somebody that I'm nice, but I think I have some crazy streaks in me. But if I'm outside, I remember my husband. I don't want to do anything that will embarrass him. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I don't think about myself. I say, forget about me. But I don't want to embarrass my husband. I think most times, because we are used to these men who've been married for years, you see them every day. But that respect, and they like that respect a lot. And I think every woman should try as much as possible to respect their husband. Treat that husband like your king. The way you treat your boss in the office, it should even be more than that. That's for respect. Then cultivate. Like she said, it has to be farming. It's hard work. It's something you have to do intentionally. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to farm tomorrow. You need to think, where is the land? What crops am I going to plant there? What do I need to do? I did a bit of farming while growing up, and my God, it was hard work. And I told myself, never, I'm going to study so hard. I'm going to study so hard, I can't do farm work. It was so difficult. And I think marriage is like that. I remember when I wanted to get married. Marriage is it's lifelong, yeah. And I didn't want to make a mistake. I was intentional about who I was going to marry. I didn't want to marry anybody. I wanted someone that God has designed for me, because as a Christian, God has made plans. He says his plans for us are good to bring us to unexpected end. So I knew there was somebody out there that could stomach me. Yeah, I know I'm not perfect. I needed somebody that could understand me. Sometimes I'll be talking with my husband. I will just say, yes. And also, you're not saying anything. Say, but you're talking. We want that communication. So intentionality is very important. What do you want in your home? Happy home. You need to cultivate. You need to sow those seeds, because what you sow is what you get. If you respect, you get love. If you do not respect, there's no way you get love at all. There's no way, it's not there. I think quality time also matters. You know who you're married to. And most times women compare their husbands with another person. I told somebody the other day, the grass is not green anywhere. Your own grass is green. We tend to look outside and see the way those other couples are behaving and say, I wish mine would be like that. But we should accept what we have and enjoy what, just like you said, this is your own. You should enjoy you. We have just one life to live. And most times we do not enjoy what we have. We always stretch our neck, we want to see what's happening out there.
Until time passes.
Yes, and you start regretting that I wish I did, I wish I did. There's nothing I can't discuss about with my husband. We talk about everything, and sometimes people will say, oh, is your husband aware? I say, yes, he's
That's
aware. Even
number
as
one person.
I'm here with you, he knows that I'm talking with you. So really, you tell him, because I don't want any problems. I tell him, I'll call him sweet. I'm going out for, even when I traveled, I'm hanging out with this. I call the names. He knows all my friends. And I think I do that out of respect. I won't want him to find out I did something and he's not aware. So I think for me, respect is number one, is paramount. Then number two, we need to be intentional about our marriages. What do we want? What you sow. I believe that word very a lot. If the man is happy, he will be happy. The other day I think it was in a group, and somebody was asking how do they feel about their husbands doing grocery shopping. And people were saying different things. No, I want to do the grocery. And I was like, excuse you, I'm okay with you doing it. Because men, when they do grocery shopping,
They
You
buy
buy
the
more than you
best
need.
but it's because when you've respected that man, he wants to go out of the way to
to
do
do things.
things for you. And I think that's where we are missing out. Marriage is really good, it's sweet, and we shouldn't miss out. We just have one life. Before you know, you get old and you start regretting, I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish.
Because some people will tell you they are showing all the respect they can show, or what their parents have taught them, or
Yeah.
what they feel is respect. But still, they are not getting the love in return, and they
Okay.
are not happy.
All right.
What would you tell that sort of woman who is doing the cooking, doing everything, spending time, doing what she can, and she's still not getting that respect?
For me, communication is very important. When I see that things aren't going the way I want it to go, I just choose one day that everybody is smiling and laughing, and I call my husband and say, I've noticed this about you, and I don't like it. It makes me unhappy. Why did you do this? Or what's your reason? I might not know. I'm not in your heart. I don't know your reason. Maybe you can tell me. Or is there something I'm doing that, let me know? And most times I've realized it's misunderstanding. And he will say, oh no, that's not what I meant. Oh, okay, oh, sorry. This was what I wanted you to. Oh, I didn't know. And I realized that if I had just taken it to heart, I would have been angry. Just like she said, you just start keeping to yourself. So I think for women in those situations, although everyone is different, yeah, apart from prayers, I think communication is very important. This is your husband. Talk to him. At some point, you were so much in love that you decided to pick him out of every other person. You should ask him what is going on. And you should pick a good time and ask, what is it? Why I'm doing this? Bible says I should respect you. I'm showing you the respect. Oh, you don't love me the way I want. And the man might even say, what do you mean by, like my husband will say, what do you mean by love? And I can delve into this part. What is the man's love language? The first, I'm a very expressive person. I love you, darling, sweetheart, touch, that's me. But my husband is not that type. Acts of service, buying gifts. Initially, I didn't know, and I wanted to be hearing, I love you, I love you. And he wasn't saying, I love you. What kind of man is this? So I had to study him, and I realized that he's not the expressive who just go out of his way and say, I love you. And my sister's husband, he can shout, I love my wife. He can just carry her in the public, and that's the kind of thing I want. But my husband, he will just come back from work and there's a gift for you. He will just wake up in the morning and maybe prepare food. He will just go out and buy stuff to the extent that I say, oh my God, I think this one is better than I love you. So with communication, and I got to study him, I knew that was his own love language. That's his own way of showing me love. I respect him. He shows me that part of love. So I think women in those situations, study your husband. What's his love language? He might be telling you he loves you, but it's not the way you want. Yeah. And if it's something that you can talk about, then you talk about it. Like, for example, I told my husband that I want to hear you say I love you. Tell me. So now he has changed. He tries it. Sometimes the kids will even tease him. So I think communication does work. No man is that wicked. There's always a way to break the man down. If that respect is there, communicate. The part of prayer is there. Pray, Lord, this is my husband. I don't just understand him. And help me. You've prayed. That one is part of God. Then do your own part. I think it will go a long way.
Yeah, but apart from communicating, I wonder if there's any other thing, practical thing that you do just to show respect to your husband. I know women normally they say they cook and they clean, but some men don't even want that because they can cook and they can clean. But is there any other thing that you do practically just to show respect or love for him so that he knows that okay, you're there, he can recognize you and see you, and then you can also be happy as well?
Some people have not seen my husband, but they've heard me talk about him so much. I don't know, somehow if I'm talking, next thing my husband's name will come inside. I call him a lot of pet names. CGH, that one everybody knows I call him. So I think for me, it's different for everybody. I think we should do what works for you. I don't know what works for you, but for me, that's what works. I just talk about him and I put him in a good light. It's not like I'm pretending. It's not like I'm bragging, but it's out of my heart that it comes out.
You don't have to spend so much money to respect your husband. The mere fact that he comes home and you give him time
Yeah.
is respect. Because most times he comes home, you're on your phone, you just manage to say, oh, welcome, and you carry on with what you're doing. I think stopping a bit to say, oh, how was your day? How did it go? For me, during the day, even at work, we don't use phone, but I must find a way to text my husband to say,
That's
or call
sweet.
him, how is your day going? Because I know how busy his work is. If you know the kind of work your husband does, you would be able to respect him from that aspect. You know, if he comes home, he's very tired. That's not the point or the time to bring things that will make him upset. That's actually respect because you're respecting his time that he needs to have to rest. That's respect. And also helping him with things, maybe his clothes, putting it in the wash. It sounds very like, oh, everybody should sort their own. But when you do that, it's actually respect. You're actually respecting and saying, okay, Bible made us to know that Sarah loved Abraham to the point that she called him Lord.
Lord.
Now ask yourself a question. What will you do for someone who you feel is like your Lord? You would even give that person water to wash hands, to eat food. What about taking time to write notes? I do that a lot for my husband. He travels a lot. So I like to write notes and put maybe on his bedside when I'm gone. When he comes home, he sees it. Be like, oh, I've really missed you. You're welcome back. The children have missed you. It makes him feel like, oh, okay, I'm really loved. I'm really valued. And I try to champion what my husband does. I am his number one fan. I may not be like so loud, but he knows that whatever he's doing, if he has to travel and I have to take time, I try to go. It might not be for everyone. Maybe you have young children, but as much as you can to show that respect to him, you know what? I support what you're doing. I agree with what you're doing. I'm here to respect you. And I want to say, sometimes when you were talking about, oh, you ask your husband gently, what happened? What did I do wrong? Sometimes it may not come like that from some of us. Respect flies out of the window when you're angry. You can just you
Yeah.
can
Calm
just
down.
say it as it is because that's how you feel. So I want to say that respect is actually what you grow on. From my experience being married, I can say that from the time I married and now, my respect for my husband has grown.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the marriage, you don't think of respect. You feel like we are equal. I've gone to work, you've gone to work. I'm tired, you're tired. So it's more like two of you are logging it. But after some time, you come to realize that, look, we are in this together. There's
So
no
it develops,
competition.
then it grows
It
with time.
grows with time.
And does that come with maturity or
Of course,
with age,
maturity
or does
has a
it come
big role to
with
play.
you learning all this?
Maturity has a big
Wow.
role to play.
Maturity and getting to know your husband.
Yes.
I must say, when you court with someone for 1 year, is not enough.
No.
Because I say to people, you spend all your money on wedding.
Yeah.
The actual marriage starts that very day, and it takes a lifetime. So marriage is actually a lifetime school
Yeah, it's
that
true.
you grow on, that you learn on. You learn on your mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I've spoken to my husband this way. I learned my lessons in a very, very hard way, I must say. I used to speak and I would say to my husband, you always, and he hates that word. Because anytime I say you always, he will now tell me, okay, if I always do this, what of when I did this? What of when I do that? So respect does not start with you always. Respect starts with, I wonder why that happened, or why you did that, or why you say that. So I feel like the way we talk to our husbands are very important. The way we speak to them. You're not speaking to your child.
Yeah.
You're not telling that person, oh, you sit down there, you do this. Oh, you are coming home. When you come home, you do. That is not respect. Remember, is your husband. Your head, as Bible tells us. Your Lord, if we have to follow Sarah's line. So the way we talk to him is very, very important. Before his friends, sometimes he's having an important conversation. You won't let him finish. You keep coming in and barging in that conversation. That is lack of respect. So we need to remember all these things when we are relating with our husbands, especially before his family members as well. Something's happened, you've run him down. You've talked so, oh, this is my husband. He did this, he did that. Where is the respect there? Whoever you respect, you never speak bad of
Yeah,
them.
that's true.
No matter what they have done, even if they've pulled the roof down, you still find something, okay, there must be a reason why this has happened. And when you have that mindset, you now speak to him from the point of respect, not from the point of accusation. Because when you accuse, you take the place of Satan. Satan accuses brethren. The moment you start accusing your husband, respect has gone, you take the place of the enemy. But you are not his enemy. You are his friend. You are his prayer partner. You are his soulmate. So whatever you're saying to him, let us try, as my sister asked us, things that we have to do daily. So it's something we have to consciously do every day. You know your husband.
Yeah.
There's a way you can talk to your husband and he's fine with it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I speak to my husband like that, it's not respectful for him. So take time, as my sister said, study your husband. Sometimes we don't know our husbands well enough. My husband is very clean person, very tidy person, meticulous. Everywhere has to be sparkling. That is who he is. If he comes home and he sees something maybe that is not meant to be somewhere, he will not like it. So if you know your husband is like that, you could take that time to, because that's respect. You respect his values, respect his thoughts, you respect his way of life. But if you feel like it doesn't matter anyway, what is there? It's just there. you're not respecting that person's feelings and emotions. And that's where we play down on. We don't think of how this person is feeling.
Feels, yeah.
So, but emotion for men is very important. They might bottle it up, they might not show it at that time, but it might come out at the wrong time.
They hardly show
It
it.
seems like a jar that is full of.
Yeah, they hardly showed you. Just see them, just not say anything until one day they explode, and you be like, okay, why did you say it all this while? But for women, it's different. The way we feel, we just say
No,
it.
I'm the other way around. I just leave it until the jar is full and then I explode.
I'm like that.
I'm the other way around.
Yes,
So, but my
I
husband
sweep
will keep
mine.
telling you
Yeah,
every minute, every
that
Oh
minute.
is
wow,
me,
we are all
definitely.
different. I don't like this. I just let you know there and that's it, and I move
No,
on.
because I remember from the start of my marriage, when something happens, my husband would like us to really talk about
Yeah,
it.
trash it out
He
and
will be
move
like,
on.
honey, let's talk about it. I know something's happened. I won't even go to the estate to say nothing happened.
Just forget about it. Just
No,
keep it under the carpet.
Everything, I'm okay.
we'll raise
But
up the carpet, bring
I
it
will
out.
say that I am fine.
No,
But the way I'm saying I'm fine tells you that I'm not fine.
no way.
But then take that to say why you're not fine. I'm not ready to do that. So if you're like that, it's actually a process, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
You have
true.
to learn. Because I'll keep saying that it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then one day, something's happened, it does not relate to
Yeah.
whatever that I'm talking about. And I start talking about that, and my husband will be like, actually, sorry, what exactly are you talking about? I'll be like, you did this, you did that. Oh my goodness, that's when I knew my memory really works really well. But something like that can actually drive happiness away from your home.
Yes.
Remember, we are looking at cultivating happy relationship.
Yeah.
Something like that can strain your home, your marriage, your relationship. So instead of growing in your relationship, you're going back and forth. So I believe that for us to have that happy home, we should pay attention to decisions we take, to our actions, to our behavior. Because for me, I do something, I forget. I don't know
I
if
do
you're
as
like
well.
that.
I forget.
And then
Yeah.
I'll do it again. I have forgotten. My husband will be like, honey, I think we have to talk. You might not have a man that is calm like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I must say I'm the opposite of my husband. He's very calm. He's a very cool
I think
person.
God just
I'm the
spares
opposite.
spares
That's
us.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will just blow it open. When I'm blowing the roof off, my husband is as calm
They,
as water.
they don't say anything. You know, the very first time of marriage, if something happened and I'm angry and I'm talking, my husband will not even say anything. And I realized I'm the only one talking. Nobody's responding. So I said, okay, no, there's no need to
No,
get
the
angry.
fact that he's not speaking is actually making me angry. I'm okay, I'm talking to you, even ignoring me.
For me, that made me to change. The guy is not ready to respond, so no need. So I learned that if anything has happened, there's no need to start. I'll just wait because he will not respond.
Have you finished?
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
And that one
husband
is even
popular
more
one.
anger, make you more. Have you
So
finished?
annoying when you hear.
So
Have you finished now, or do you have more to say?
you continue. We always have more.
And we never finish.
I'm glad to have learned today that respect actually grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my take home from today because my husband has said so many times respect. I'm like, what is this respect?
It's like what is big.
What is this respect? It sounds like, what else would somebody do? Well, it looks like it grows with
Yeah.
maturity and with your years of experience in marriage. You will just learn a lot because you can't really learn in 1 year or
No,
even in
no,
5 years. So,
Hmm.
like you say,
Con-
study him. You continue to
Continuous
study
project.
every day. You continue to
Every
study
day.
until you get used to the fact that okay, this is the pattern, this
Yeah.
is the way, and then you follow that way. So yeah, there is hope for everyone out there. Then
There
who
is
is
Yeah,
hope.
still
there is.
struggling
Yeah.
There is.
and who is still concerned or worried? Oh, am I going to be like this forever? Is this going to carry on? No, there is hope. So I think patience is an important virtue
Hmm.
to
I
speak
actually put
about.
it
I
down.
think fruits of the
Patience.
spirit really patience,
Yes.
gentleness, self-control.
Self-control.
Self-control is very
Self-control is
important.
so important for us women
I
to just have that
forgiveness.
forgiveness as
Yes.
well.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness
Forgive in
Forgive
advance.
in
in
advance,
Yeah.
advance.
absolutely. Yeah.
And what I have learned is the start of my marriage. It seems as if I threw away the fact that I'm a Christian, believing in God, but you tend to let your flesh take over. When I came to myself, I'm like, come on. Where is the fruit of spirit in this? And that's why I say to people, to have a happy home is actually living a spirit-filled life. There's no two different ways, because when I used to get angry, that's when I have already chased the spirit of God away.
Yeah.
I'm already angry. So even when God wants to give me wisdom, I'm not listening, because I'm already, as in today, we must deal with this. He must come back. And when I realized that, I must tell you, God told me to go and read book of Colossians chapter 3. After reading that, my life changed. I must tell you, my life changed. It's talking about how we live our lives as children of God, and also in relation to our marriage. So it's actually the total life. I would advise you to go and read that. It's actually the total life of a true Christian. What is expected. And I've come to realize that my Christianity is not just outside.
Yeah.
Because most times, most women profess it outside there.
Yeah.
When you come home, you
It's,
become a tiger at
different.
home, a lioness, ready to tear people apart. That forgiveness is gone. But that is actually what God is asking us to do. Forgiveness. People used to say you put things in your fingertips, isn't it? So you can pull it out at any moment. That's the life of the flesh.
Yeah.
Because once you're in the spirit, please remember, it's not a one-day journey,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
not.
So you can't say, oh yeah, you want to expect it today. No, it's a gradual process. It's daily yielding yourself and being honest. I am always very honest with myself. I always look back and be like, hey, you know what? I think I have done this wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very reflective. And I'll go back to it. I'll be like, oh God, the way I spoke to my husband today, I don't think if he did speak to me that way, maybe I would have been screaming
You won't
now.
like
And
it.
I'll just ask God to really forgive me. And I'll go back to him and say, oh, honey, I'm not sure I really spoke the way I should. We'll be like, no, you didn't. And we've come to now begin to talk in that way.
Yeah.
So that I'll be like, oh, did I raise my voice? Or sometimes when I'm speaking, I wouldn't even know I've raised my voice. He'll be the one to say, oh. And when he does like that, it's like my voice is raised. Oh, did I raise my voice? I actually didn't know that I raised my voice. So it helps me to know that, okay, when I'm talking, when your emotions are heightening up, you have the tendency to raise your voice, even though you do not intend to.
Yeah.
So it's
It
something
just
that
happens.
because once the volume or the tone that you use makes situation to go worse.
Yeah.
So that's why Bible say that soft words
Yeah,
diffuses
turns away
anger.
wrath.
Maybe if you're like me, when you're upset, you raise your voice. Maybe you should become more conscious of that, because when you do that, the other person feels I'm not being respected. You're shouting at me, but you think I'm not shouting. I'm just talking to you. So it's something that we as women we need to really reflect on and ask the Holy Spirit to really, really help us.